I'm in short revising those concepts. So remember, a person will pay only if he gets utility and will not pay if there is no utility. Types of utility we discussed: form utility by changing the shape of commodity. I gave you example: a log of wood converted into furniture, cotton converted into cloth. We discussed it last lecture. Here we took place utility, the utility generated by changing the place of consumption. I said it is created with the help of transportation facilities. They say vegetable from the farm transported to vegetable market. Various transportation facilities like air, airlines, waterways, warehousing, railways, infrastructure, etc., are useful for us to create place utility. Remember, place utility is created by transport facilities. When we study time utility, the utility of commodity will increase with the change in time of its utilization. They say umbrellas are used during monsoons, woolen clothes are used during winters, and cotton clothes during summers. Remember, time utility is created with the help of storage facility. Service utility. Utility of the professionals like doctors, lawyers, teachers, etc. can satisfy our wants and they will have utility, and that utility is service utility. The next one we have is possession utility. Utility created by transfer of ownership from one person to another. जैसे seller sells the goods to the buyer, तो buyer को उन goods का जो utility रहेगा, that would be called as possession utility. Knowledge utility. The utility that we generate by creating or acquiring the knowledge about a product. For example, laptops and mobiles. हम इनको जितना यूज करके इनके बारे में, इनके फीचर्स के बारे में जितना जानकारी इकट्ठा करेंगे, हमको उनका यूटिलिटी उतना ही बढ़ेगा. Features of utility. Relative concept. It is related to time and place. It differs from time to time. It differs from place to place. For example, breakfast का time and lunch का time अलग-अलग होता है, तो उनका utility भी अलग रहेगा. At the same time, place to place, woolen clothes will have more utility at the cold places rather than hot places. Utility is subjective concept. It differs from person to person. जैसे मैंने आपको एग्जांपल दिया था, a Jain Muni and a product onion. Onion cannot satisfy his want, will have no utility. But same product, a Maharashtrian lady, she will have extensive utility of this product, high utility, because she will use it to cook the food. Utility lacks moral and ethical standard. Utility does not know what is good, what is bad. It only knows satisfaction of the human want. If it can satisfy your want, it will have utility. जैसे I gave you example, a knife is used to chop the vegetables. At the same time, we can see that the same knife can be used to kill a person, but the knife will satisfy want of both the persons. It will satisfy the want of a rich person also, sorry, cook also, and it can satisfy the wants of murderer also. It will satisfy wants of all type of persons. Utility differs from usefulness. Some commodities can be useful, whereas some commodities can be harmful. तो यूजफुल रहेगा तो ही यूटिलिटी रहेगा ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. Even if the commodity may be harmful, but if it satisfies human want, it will have utility. For example, milk is useful and will have utility. Alcohol is harmful. Alcohol is harmful, but will have utility for the drunkard. Utility differs from pleasure. ऐसा नहीं है कि जो चीज आप एंजॉय करेंगे, जिसमें आपको प्लेजेंट जो प्लेजेंट रहेगा, उसका ही यूटिलिटी रहेगा, ऐसा नहीं है. Even if you do not enjoy the product, it will have utility. For example, eating an ice cream would be a pleasant activity and it will have utility, but consuming a bitter medicine may not be that pleasant. Nobody will enjoy, but it will have utility. Utility differs from satisfaction. Remember, utility is just a cause of consumption and satisfaction is end of consumption. Utility cannot be measured cardinally. It cannot be measured in terms of numbers. But utility can be compared. It can be ranked. So it can be measured ordinally. You can measure it in comparison form. Utility is multi-purpose. A commodity can be used to satisfy more than one want or more than one person's want. जैसे we took example, electricity. We can use it for light, fan, television, geyser, air conditioners, etc. Utility depends upon intensity of work. Higher the intensity, higher will be the utility, and lower the intensity, lower will be the utility. Just say if a person is hungry, will have huge utility for the food. But if the person is not feeling hungry, then he will have less utility for the food. Utility is the basis of demand. See, a consumer will demand only those products.
पढ़ाई के लिए मेहनत तो सब करते हैं, लेकिन स्मार्ट स्टडी कौन करता है? प्री एग्जाम ऐप के साथ बनाइए अपनी तैयारी सुपर स्मार्ट. प्री एग्जाम ऐप देता है वाइड रेंज के एग्जाम्स की तैयारी, जैसे जी, नीट, कैट, सीए फाउंडेशन, सीएस सीट, बैंकिंग, रेलवे, एसएससी, एमबीए एंट्रेंस, एसवाईजेसी, कॉम, टीवाईबी कॉम और भी बहुत कुछ. चैप्टर वाइज टेस्ट्स एंड मॉक टेस्ट्स डिटेल्ड परफॉर्मेंस एनालिसिस, और अब तैयारी होगी एकदम परफेक्ट। कहीं भी कभी भी पढ़ाई करें। और एक विशाल क्वेश्चन बैंक आपकी तैयारी को बनाए आसान। इंस्टेंट इवैल्यूएशन से तुरंत जानिए अपनी परफॉर्मेंस और पाएं पर्सनलाइज्ड फीडबैक। तो अब देरी किस बात की? प्री एग्जाम ऐप डाउनलोड करें और अपने नाम से रजिस्टर्ड करें और एक विशाल क्वेश्चन बैंक बिल्कुल फ्री और अपनी सफलता की कहानी लिखें। लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है। प्री एग्जाम ऐप स्मार्ट तैयारी का साथी।
which will have utility. जैसे again I gave you example earlier of a Jain sadhu. उसको अनियन का कोई यूटिलिटी नहीं है, he will not demand. But a Maharashtrian lady has high utility for onion and she will demand more of onions. Is that okay? Now, this is what we have studied up to earlier lecture. Now we are going to discuss the law of diminishing marginal utility. Remember, this law was propounded by, was introduced by Professor Alfred Marshall. Wait, let me check. Now just confirm, is it clear now? Okay. So as we were discussing, the law of diminishing marginal utility, this law was propounded, or that we can write introduced by. This law was introduced by Professor Alfred Marshall. In this law, Professor Marshall has explained the relationship between two concepts, that is the concept of marginal utility and the concept of total utility. दो अलग अलग concepts के ऊपर उन्होंने ये लॉ को पूरे ढंग से एक्सप्लेन किया है. So let us see what he exactly wanted to say. He first explained the concept of marginal utility. देखो, हर एक प्रोडक्ट का अपना खुद का एक यूटिलिटी होता है. हर एक प्रोडक्ट का अपना खुद का एक यूटिलिटी होता है. That utility is called मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी, प्रोडक्ट का खुद का जो यूटिलिटी रहता है उसको हम मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी बोलेंगे. द यूटिलिटी डिराइव फ्रॉम ईच सक्सेसिव यूनिट of commodity is called marginal utility. Is called marginal utility. Remember, marginal utility is calculated with the help of formula. NUN is equal to TUN minus TUN minus 1. That is marginal utility of nth unit is equal to total utility of nth unit minus total utility of n minus 1. मतलब अगर हम marginal utility of fifth unit निकाल रहे हैं तो I would say marginal utility of fifth unit is equal to total utility of fifth unit minus total utility of fourth unit. Then we can get marginal utility. अभी दूसरा कंसेप्ट उन्होंने इंट्रोड्यूस किया था टोटल यूटिलिटी. टोटल यूटिलिटी के बारे में प्रोफेसर मार्शल ने क्या कहा? इट इज सम टोटल ऑफ मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी. अभी हमने 5 यूनिट्स कंज्यूम किया तो हर एक यूनिट का खुद का यूटिलिटी रहा है पक्का. हर एक यूनिट का अपना खुद का एक यूटिलिटी है जिसको प्रोफेसर मार्शल ने मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी कहा है. तो हमने 5 यूनिट अगर कंज्यूम किया है तो वो पांचों के यूटिलिटी को जब हम टोटल करेंगे then that total shall be called as marginal utility. So total utility. That total shall be called as total utility. Formula for calculating total utility. In fact, it is sum total of marginal utility, right? So TUN is equal to MU1 plus MU2 plus MU3 up to MUN. हर एक मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी का टोटल आप जब करोगे तो हमको जो टोटल मिलेगा दैट टोटल shall be called as total utility. Now, the law explains us the relationship between total utility and marginal utility. What was stated by Professor Alfred Marshall into his law? हम वो statement discuss करते हैं. The law says as we go on consuming the same commodity one after the another,